All right, so I'm going to talk about some research I've been doing on proximity, how proximity affects local search results. So let's have a look-see here. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but what I've noticed is lately, and I saw actually Casey Mraz did a post about it, where you're like, why are these businesses ranking? It doesn't make any sense. You look at them, they don't have much going on. You're like, why these businesses? Here's a great example. So if I run the search for plumbers, I can see these three businesses. We got DollarWise, Fast Service, and Mayfair Plumbing. These are the three that are ranking number 1, 2, and 3 on the local pack. This is prime real estate on Google. So let's look at their metrics. Is the listing claimed? All three cases, no, they haven't even claimed a Google listing. The number 1 ranking business has no website. The number 2 ranking business has some decent content on their website, so not too bad. The number 3 business doesn't have a website either. So in terms of how many links they have, well, DollarWise has 0 links. They don't have a website. You can't link to something that doesn't exist. Mayfair also has no website. Citations, those look pretty standard across the board. Nothing really outstanding there. And none of them have reviews. So 2 of the top ranked businesses haven't even claimed their Google listing, and they don't even have websites. Why, Google, are those rankings? So surely there must be more prominent businesses in Edmonton that deserve to rank for this term. So let's add proximity to the metrics and see if this is proximity to me, my search location. So DollarWise is 600 meters away. Fast Service is 800 meters away, and this Mayfair is 2.1 kilometers away. I can basically walk to any of these businesses. So that little purple star is where Google sets my location, and then those are the 3 businesses. You see how they're so clustered and close to me? So is this just me? Is this just some kind of personalization that's happening? Fortunately, at Whitespark, we have employees distributed across the whole city. So Brianna is on the north end. I'm sort of west central. Jesse is south central, and Nick is pretty deep south. So because of that, I was able to get everybody to run a bunch of queries, save screenshots. We did all of that in incognito browsers, all using Chrome, so we could compare results and see what each person's results look like. So if you're curious, how do you determine your location on Google? These are the steps. You just, in an incognito browser, go to maps.google.com, search for any business in your city, some prominent business, and then click the directions button. Then in the from field, put in my location, the actual words, my space location, and press get directions. And then Google will put a dot on where it thinks your location is. And you can use that to get a sense of where you are located. So let's take a look at Brianna's results here for plumbers. So when Brianna searches plumbers, she gets those 3 businesses clustered on the top left. When I search plumbers, those are the ones we already looked at, I get the 3 clustered right around where Google sets my location. And this is interesting. This first star next to the Edmonton is my actual location, but Google thought my location was there, and that's what I figured out by doing that little maps trick. So Google thought my location was further to the left than where I actually am, and so that's, I think, why I got results clustered around that spot. Pretty sure, makes sense. So Jessie, her plumber results are right. These are the 3 people that ranked, and these are where they are located in the city. I did all of this with my maps, so I made my maps for all of this and just mapped the business locations. Nick's there's one of them that is basically right next door to him, I think, because you see at the bottom there, he's got one right there, and then the other 2 were sort of clustered up in a business district a little bit higher. So let's look at the term coffee shops. Brianna's coffee shops are sort of on the top left there. My coffee shops, Jesse's coffee shops, Nick's coffee shop. You can see that. See how the results are so clustered next to the person that's doing the searching? Lawyers, Brianna's, mine, Jesse's, look how close and clustered those ones are. And Nick's, again, Nick's lawyers are close and clustered there. So are geo-modified terms less affected by proximity to searcher? So this is where you actually add the word Edmonton to the term. So before we were just searching plumbers, now we're searching plumbers Edmonton. So these are Brianna's plumbers. She gets them in that area. These are my plumbers. Interestingly, when I add the word Edmonton, for some reason they're further from the Edmonton city center and clustered more a little further away from my location. I don't know what's up with that. Jesse's plumbers Edmonton. She looks like she's pulling one more centralized. Nick's plumbers Edmonton, clustered together up there. Brianna coffee shops Edmonton. This is interesting. So her coffee shops before were clustered around her. Now they're clustered closer to the downtown core. Mine are pretty close to me, except for one outlier, which is Coffee Bureau, which is right from the center of Edmonton. Jessie Coffee Shops Edmonton. She's also pulling Coffee Bureau in, which I think is probably smack dab on where the Edmonton centroid is. Nick Coffee Shops Edmonton. His are still pretty located close to him. He's not pulling anything from the center there. How about Lawyers Edmonton? Brianna's, mine, Jesse's, Nick's. So basically, it looks like proximity is still drastically influencing results for geomodified terms. So the differences that we see are likely due to, relevancy. You might be relevant for the term plumbers, but let's say you have more anchor text that has Edmonton plumbers, or you have more content that mentions the word Edmonton. So I really feel like the prime factor there is relevancy that's driving some of the differences that we're seeing between geomodified and non-geomodified results. So my current theory, based on this research, is that proximity to the searcher appears to be the #1 dominant local ranking factor in local pack results today. Before it would have been, citation consistency or title tags. I really feel like this proximity is what's driving the local pack rankings more than links, more than content, more than citations, more than reviews. This proximity is the big thing that's determining what businesses are ranking in the local pack. And it's proximity to the searcher, not just proximity to the city centroid. Now, how does this affect the local organic results? Are they also affected by proximity to the searcher? So the localized organic results are the blue links that you'll see underneath the local packs, and the localized organic results are businesses that are local to the city that are pulled into the organic results. So let's look at Brianna's results for plumbers. So in the #2 position, we have Pro Plumbing. #5, we have United. #6, Easy Plumbing. #7, Capital. #8 is Best. So those are her localized organic results from her location. These are mine. They're basically the exact same. The only thing is that Best and Capital have swapped positions. These are Jesse's. She has the exact same results as me. And these are Nick's. They're similar. Capital somehow jumped up, and Easy must be further down the page a little bit. So there's a little bit of shifting going on. That could almost be time of day, really. We did try to run all these searches at the same time, but there could have been some differences in the timing. So let's look if we geomodify the term. So if you go Edmonton plumbers, we've got Pro, Best, Butler, Capital, and Action. That's what Brianna's. My search results show Pro, Best, Butler, Capital, and Action. Jesse's results for this term, Edmonton plumbers, Pro, Best, Butler, Capital, and Action. And Nick's, almost the exact same. It's just Best has moved from #4 spot to #3 spot. So, how about Lawyers? And it's got Heritage Law at the #4 position, and then this other law firm is popping up there. Me, I have Heritage at #7. Jesse has Heritage at #7, and Nick had Heritage at #7. So really what we're seeing are just a few minor differences in the localized organic results. It's almost to be expected. But generally, I would say that localized organic results are pretty consistent no matter where you are in the city or no matter where you're searching from. So here are a few observations from this research. This is a bit of new thinking. The current #1 local search ranking factor from the last local search ranking factor survey that was done was physical address in city that it was searched, right? So that appears to not be the case anymore, because if we see Brianna, she's now pulling results from St. Albert. In the new local packs, proximity to searcher isn't really so affected by the city you're in. It's really the radius around the searcher, because these plumbers and these coffee shops are actually in St. Albert, but Brianna's close enough to them that they're getting pulled in. This does not appear to be the same for a geo-modified term. If you add the word Edmonton, so plumbers Edmonton, coffee shops Edmonton, then the results do seem to be forced to only be within the city of search. Results are sometimes clustering together, even though we know that there might be closer results to the searcher. So in this case, you know, Nick for plumbers Edmonton, we know he's got a plumber that's right next door to him from when you just ran the search plumbers. But if you type in plumbers Edmonton, you get this cluster here. So we're seeing this clustering effect, which, you know, this cluster isn't close to the city center. It's just a cluster of businesses that are close to each other. And we see the same thing with my plumbers Edmonton results. It seems that Google would rather show a smaller pack than a 3-pack with a business that's too far away. So for example, I ran this search. This is for teaching supplies, and it only gave me a 2-pack. But I know there are at least 5 other businesses in Edmonton that match the search term, but it's not showing them to me. And I think it's not showing them to me because they're too far away. They're deep on the south side or on the east side or whatever. And so I'm only getting the ones that are close to me. So I think that's kind of an interesting observation. I'd like to find more examples of that. So here's the question. Why would Google do this? These results are so crappy. Like, I don't care if the business is next door to me. I'm looking for the best plumber. That best plumber could be on the totally different side of the city. I'm looking for the best results, and Google is now shooting themselves in the foot a little bit with this by having these poor results. You know, I'm going to start turning to Yelp or to TripAdvisor or to some other source to find the best businesses, because the local pack results are not giving me the best businesses. They're only giving me the closest businesses. But there's a good answer for why Google's doing this. It's obviously to sell more ads. And I can think of 3 ways that they're doing that. First, if you can't get in the local pack rankings, well, what are you going to do? Well, you could pay for sponsored pack placement. This is coming quicker than we might expect, but these paid packs are a thing. Right now, they're running a test in San Diego for plumbers and locksmiths. So this is how it appears. You get, like, if you type in San Diego plumbers, you can see the sponsored pack up here, and then the regular local pack is down here. So this is a way you can pay to get into local pack results. Also in San Francisco, they're running these this home services thing. So you can find these sponsored packs for plumbers in San Francisco. So Google is testing this. I feel like it's coming. It's a massive revenue channel for them that you would expect them to capitalize on. And so if the regular local pack results are not doing it for you, you're not getting any traffic from those, well, hey, you want traffic from Google, you can pay to get into the sponsored packs. I see that happening in the not too distant future. There used to be 1 pack per city. Now there are thousands. Every single zip code or postal code has its own local pack. And so what that means is that there's way more ad inventory and targeting refinements. So Google can now sell ads in thousands and thousands of places instead of just 1 local pack for Edmonton plumbers. And also, as a advertiser, I can choose like which zip codes I want my ads to appear in. So it makes a lot of sense for Google to be able to divvy that up. Another way is, you know, if the local pack results aren't doing it for you, you're not finding the businesses you're interested in. They have no reviews. It's not helpful for me. They don't even have websites. So I'm going to click more places, and oh, look, here's another place that Google can present ads to me. So lots of ways that Google can use this to drive more revenue from local search. So here are some takeaways, some things to think about. Local rank tracking. What is that? If you're tracking local rankings, where does the software set the location to? It can't give you rankings for every single zip code in the city. So it really just geolocates to the city centroid. And so whatever you're getting out of your local rank tracking, I certainly think there's still value in doing it, but just understand that it can't possibly match up. Like, so if your client or your business is, checking their rankings against the local rank tracker results, it's pretty likely you're going to see different results. And that is because of the location that is set. Local organic rankings are still an excellent source of traffic. So, while your local strategy might be, still, it still is what it is. You still want to invest your time and effort into, citation work, link work, content. That all has benefits beyond just local pack rankings. It benefits your business, and it will help you rank within the particular area that you can sort of the radius that you can attract business from. So you still want to keep focusing on that. But the local organic rankings, you can rank all over the whole city. So investing in content and links is a big move. You definitely want to spend some time on local organic so that you are one of those businesses on the first page. You also want to diversify your local optimization efforts beyond Google. So look at Facebook, look at LinkedIn, look at Yelp, TripAdvisor, Yellow Pages. Any business listing site that's on the first page of Google's organic results, you should make sure that your listing on that site is optimized. You're getting reviews to that listing, and you are helping that listing to rank well within that site. Because a lot of people, let's say the local pack results are crap, they will click the Yelp's 10 best plumbers list, and they'll look at that. You want to be on that list. That will help you to drive a lot of business. I had a client that was a moving company, and they drove so much traffic from being #1 on that Yelp's 10 best movers, and they weren't ranking in Google before we started, but it was huge. So you definitely want to focus a lot on that. I'm also working on some future research with this, so this is just sort of an initial pass and initial discovery of what's happening around this. But the next steps for me are, why is Second Cup ranking so much better than Starbucks? That's an interesting question that came up, because I noticed that Starbucks didn't rank for any of those coffee terms, but Second Cup was quite prevalent in everybody's search results. So why is that? It could be the Canadian factor. I think Second Cup's a Canadian company, and Starbucks is an international brand. So I don't know, maybe they're favoring locally companies a little bit more. So that's interesting to me. I want to look into that a bit deeper. I want to collect distance data for hundreds of results and calculate the averages for categories and pack types. So, what is the average distance from the searcher for, let's say, a plumber versus accountants versus coffee shops? Based on the available inventory, does the radius get tighter? Because we have more businesses that are closer to you, so you're going to see a tighter radius. So I'd love to gather that data. And then the different pack types, like, restaurants have a different pack type. We call that the snack pack versus just a regular local pack for dentists or plumbers. So I want to compare all that data and see what the average distance is that you can attract business for. While I gather that data, I'm going to find interesting outliers where you have this one business that's ranking really great, but they're 15 kilometers away. When I see that, I want to study what is it about that particular business and understand why they're ranking and what are those factors. And I also want to then run searches around that business's area to see all the different places that they're ranking. So those outliers will be really great to study and help businesses understand what they can do to attract from a wider radius. And I also want to investigate terms with low inventory. So, for example, taxidermy. So, there's only 5 taxidermists in the city, so it's going to have to pull them all. And what are some interesting things around that in categories like that? So that's about all I have for now. Continuing to look at this, I'm excited about the research. I think it's very interesting, and I'll keep investigating this and publishing more about it. So thanks very much.